Hello, I'm Frances Rogers, and I work on the Europe PMC help desk as an author customer support specialist. And I'm here to let you know how you can make your research open with Europe PMC. Today, I'll be covering the following topics. So I'll be giving you a quick introduction to Europe PMC, followed by an overview of our funders and their open access policies, including how you can provide a funding acknowledgement. I'll also be giving you details on how you can make your research open via our manuscript submission system, including how to review author manuscripts and how to link grants to publications. So what is Europe PMC? So Europe PMC is a free global life sciences database. We partner with PubMed Central International. This means that we have content from PubMed and PubMed Central. We also are the repository of choice for 37 international science funders. So in addition to the main corpus of abstracts and full text articles, Europe PMC includes NHS guidelines, agricultural records, and we've been indexing preprints since 2018. Europe PMC currently indexes 30 preprint servers, including Open Research Europe, SciLO preprints, and F1000 Research. Europe PMC is also a content aggregator. So we enrich our articles with as much of the surrounding data as possible so that users can easily access all of these from one place. We have well over 4 million articles that are linked to, that have data links to one or more of the 40 biological databases that we link with. We're integrated with ORCID and have nearly 15 million articles with an ORCID ID. We also link articles to grants and link articles to open peer review. When using Europe PMC, one aspect, which may be a little different to some other services you're familiar with, is that we have a single search for all content. So some services, such as PubMed, Web of Science and Scopus, the searches are only looking for keywords in the abstract. And for PubMed Central, the search is only looking in the full text. For Europe PMC, your search is being queried against the full text and the abstract at the same time. I'll now demonstrate how to use our search. So the search bar is at the top of every page. So you just have to put your search in. Your results will initially be sorted by relevance, but you can click on the drop down and change that to most recently added, time cited, or date published. With the date published, you can change the date from descending to ascending with this little blue button here. We also have these filters to the left, so you can choose how the full text is available, the type of the article, and filter by year. You can also export citations in a variety of formats. You can also save and create an alert, so you can set up an email alert to get emailed when there are new results for a particular search. And if you want more of an advanced query, we've got the advanced search, and this allows you to query many aspects of the content. So you can really build up a query there. So onto our funders. So these are Europe PMC's funding organisations. So if you have any work that is partly funded by at least one of these funders, you are able to archive that work with Europe PMC to meet your funder's open access requirements. Open access policies do vary across funders. And you can find links to all of the open access policies via our website on our funders page. In the past, a lot of funders had the policy that it was the author accepting manuscript, which is the manuscript that has had all the changes requested by the peer reviewers, but has not undergone any copy editing with the journal, to be deposited and to be released at the latest 6 months after publication date. Since Plan S came into effect in 2021, now it's quite often that it needs to be available immediately upon publication and under a CC BY licence. These are also the rules for the Horizon Europe funded articles. If you have any questions about that, please do ask your funder, as they are the ultimate source of knowledge for this. Some funders also require a specific funding acknowledgement statement within the manuscript itself. So again, if you check with your funder to get the exact wording for this, I've just given you a couple of examples here from the Dunhill Medical Trust and Wellcome. So if you have a peer-reviewed research article that has been accepted for publication in a journal and is supported, at least partly, by one or more of our Europe PMC funding organisations, you can submit this work to the manuscript submission system, Europe PMC Plus, to archive that work and make it available openly. So just to give you a brief overview of the submission process. So firstly, the accepted manuscript is submitted. Then there's a checking stage where you check that all files are present and correct. We then convert those files into a machine-readable format. And then there's a final review where you check that the conversion is correct. And then the article will be released to Europe PMC and PubMed Central. So this will always be after the publication date, and if there is an embargo, after that embargo period has passed. So don't worry about submitting your article before publication date. That's absolutely fine. The system is set up so that it will not be released ahead of schedule. Okay, so our manuscript submission system is called Europe PMC Plus, and it's available at plus.europepmc.org and looks like this. And if you log in to submit work to us, you can see that we've tried to make this system as user-friendly as possible. So there's a breadcrumb trail at the top to help you know where you are with your submission. There's helpful information towards the right-hand side, and this will change as you go through. And if you've got any queries at all about anything, please do drop us a line at helpdesk@europepmc.org, and we're always very happy to help. The first thing that we ask is for you to find the citation. Now, especially with the Plan S workflow, often now you'll be submitting after acceptance but before publication, therefore you may not find the article. That's absolutely fine. If you click on the blue text to enter the citation manually, you can put in your title and the journal name and can carry on from there. The next thing we ask for is your funding information, and the system is set up so that your funder's requirements will be followed. So it may ask you questions about when you submitted to the journal. So in this case, it's a Wellcome grant after January 2021, therefore Plan S will apply. So we'll then have a screen, in this case, allowing you to apply that CC BY licence and making sure that it is available as per the funder's requirements. If you have an exception or any questions for your funder, you can ask them about that from this screen as well. The next step is to upload your files. So in this case, we need the manuscript files, any supplementary information, and the main figures and tables. If your figures and tables are all in the manuscript file, you don't have to upload those separately in addition to that. And next, you'll be given an overview screen, so you can check that the files that have been submitted are correct. If you realise that you've left anything out or anything needs changing, you just need to click on the Edit button to the right-hand side of the relevant heading. And if everything's okay, you can submit the manuscript to us. Some people will enter the system a little bit at a slightly different point. So either the journal or your open access staff at the library or any other admin staff may have already submitted the files on your behalf, in which case you'll come in at the review stage. So you will receive an email from us, which looks like this, just letting you know that the files are there for you to check. And you'll start on the review screen. So here you can, again, edit anything by clicking on the edit buttons to the right. If you happen to need to completely reject it, that will send it back to whoever submitted the manuscript files with a message. And once everything is correct, you can submit that to us. So we convert the files into XML and HTML. So that's XML is a machine readable format and HTML is the web view. So converting it into XML really makes your research be a lot more easily accessed and used by text mining. And also that's how we can have such a detailed search. So you can search by article section, for example. So it's really useful and really boosts how your research can be used. After around 10 days, you'll get of this whole process, you'll get an email that you need to do a final review, which is to check that the conversion of the files has been done properly. So you'll find this review screen where you can so our version of the manuscript is on the left and on the right is the manuscript that you submitted, and you can check that no errors have been introduced. If there are any errors, you can highlight these and then tell us what needs to be changed and send the error report. So for these errors, it should be things that we've accidentally mistyped or anything that has a major scientific impact on the article rather than anything that's more in the copy editing arena. So once you are happy with the files, you'll approve them, and then the article will be sent to Europe PMC and PubMed Central after the publication date and any embargo has expired. Another aspect of the system that you can use is sometimes we may have the full text available that may have been sent by the journal, but your funding isn't included. So that might look like this. So you've got a PMC ID, so you know the full text is available. However, there's no funding associated. And in this case, you would start a submission as you normally do, but instead of asking you for files, the system will recognise that it's already got the full text. You don't need to do that. but would you like these grants to be linked to the article? So you can add them that way. In case you have any more questions, we have a lovely user guide, including short videos on how to submit files to the system. So that's accessible via the Plus system. We also have many webinars. So if you want to watch this again, and also things like using our APIs. There's loads of information at EMBL-EBI training. Europe PMC also has a YouTube channel. And if all else fails, we're very happy to help if you email us at helpdesk@europepmc.org. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Fran. I'm just going to start sharing my screen so that we can start the second part of this webinar. So I'm Summer Rosanowski, and I'm the Community Outreach Officer for Europe PMC. So following on where Fran's gone over how Europe PMC works and the Plus system, I'm going to look at the benefits of including your publications in Europe PMC for yourselves as authors and as readers. So the first things that we'll be looking at is that you've got your funder policy compliance that Fran has gone over you with using Europe PMC Plus. There's increased visibility, enhanced user experience, recognition for authors and further research, and support for further research. So these are what I will be covering, the latter ones here with you today. So Europe PMC is an open access platform, and Fran's explained how you submit your manuscripts. They're all openly available in Europe PMC. So this increases the visibility of your papers as there's no paywalls, subscriptions and user accounts to see your research, and they'll be in full text, which allows the search function to search through the abstract and the full text, as was previously explained. So that's how this looks. And this is a unique feature to Europe PMC, which will return your research on more searches. And that's because your search terms are searched throughout the whole paper, excluding the references, rather than just the abstract or full text. So this means that your research will be returned for a greater number of search terms. Europe PMC also has millions of users all over the globe, surfacing your work to even more people, increasing the reach of your research and increasing the visibility. However, you don't only reach Europe PMC users. Your research reaches many more users as Europe PMC content is shared with PMC USA. It's indexed by Google, and the content is indexed in Unpaywall, where Unpaywall is an open source tool to make research more open, accessible, and reusable. It finds versions of the papers that you're trying to access. So if the publisher doesn't have a free copy of your research, but Europe PMC does, Unpaywall will link users to that article in Europe PMC so it can be accessed, increasing the visibility of your research in Europe PMC. Meaning indexing your research in Europe PMC not only reaches the millions of Europe PMC users, but also the users of PMC USA, Google, and Unpaywall, increasing the number of people your research has the potential to reach. Europe PMC is committed to innovation, which makes research more visible and accessible. One way that this is done is through making clear article sections which add value to the research. So the article sections here that you can see on the left-hand side are the abstract, where you get a summary of the research results. The figures, where you can see the figures in the research article without having to scroll through the article, and you can see them in a carousel just here on the figure, making it easy for you to flick through them quickly. There's also the free full text, where you can access the full text, giving you the further sections which you'd expect for a research article, such as your introduction, your methods, your results. And this makes searching through the paper for information you need to find or scanning papers easier. There are also some further sections developed by Europe PMC, shown here on the left-hand side, that add even further value to your research if it's included in Europe PMC. And this includes citations and impact, data, reviews, similar articles, and funding. And these are what we're going to explore further now. So firstly, let's explore linking to citations and impact. This includes a citation graph, which monitors the number of citations year by year of your article. This is a traditional impact metric, and it's commonly used to determine the impact of your research. The citation graph produced by Europe PMC clearly shows your impact via citations year by year. And this graph can be used to showcase that impact for various applications, including grant applications, reports for your funders, and university affiliations. Europe PMC also displays alternative metrics that you can also use to showcase the impact of your research. This includes Outmetrics, which displays the attention surrounding your article online from a range of sources, including news reports, social media such as X, previously called Twitter, and Facebook, policy documents, blog mentions, and many more, with graphical breakdowns to help you monitor and report attention surrounding your research. The second important alternative impact metric is Cite Smart Citations. So these link to citation statements from full text articles mentioning your research article. It determines if these support, mention, or contrast your work. And this provides you as the author with added value to easily find articles where your work appears in citation statements, and makes it easy for you to keep track of your impact on the field, find new work in your field, and find potential reviewers. It also adds value for the readers by showing other relevant papers in the field and enabling them to build that full picture for literature reviews around the research presented. One way Europe PMC enhances user experience is by linking to data, and this includes data that cites the article and data behind the article. So the data is linked from over 60 different life science resources, and data sets in this section are identified through partner data resources such as PDBE and Kemble, which can be used to evaluate the data in the article. The data behind the article links to the relevant data that is deposited in data resources such as UniProt, which can provide protein sequence and functional information for proteins. The data record in the corresponding database you are linked to existed before the article was published, and it's relevant to the article. The article isn't cited in this database as it didn't contribute to this information in that database. You can think of this more like background information. It adds value for your readers as they can easily access relevant data linked to your article, improving their experience. For example, if your article refers to a protein, there may be a link for that protein to the PDBE database where you can view the structure in Europe PMC without having to leave, and then also a link to the PDBE database to find out further information such as structural and biological information. This allows readers to build a greater understanding of the content and the research field related to your research area. And data that cites the article contains links to databases where your work has been cited. So this links the article to data accessions. So these are unique identifiers for data and DOIs. This means where databases such as PDBE have referenced that article, the link will show up in this section. You can think of this as links to citations, but rather than papers, it's to databases that have deposited data. This adds value for the readers as they can easily access relevant data linked to your article and find further information improving their experience. And as authors, it provides you links to data that have cited your article and used your article to add further information to their database. For example, if your article refers to a chemical and finds something new about that, there may be a link to that chemical from the EMBL-EBI database, and you can view that structure in Europe PMC and follow that link to the database to find out further information such as roles, reactions, and pathways. This allows your readers to build that greater understanding of the content and the research field, and it allows you to easily find the impact of your research and where those links to data are. And you can find all of this, which enhances the user experience by having your article on Europe PMC. Europe PMC also has a review section where you can find reviews and recommendations from expert sources. This makes it easy for readers to find comments around the content and to evaluate the content presented critically, enhancing the user's experience. Another great feature is the linking to similar articles. If you're looking for articles that are related to the article you're reading, you can check the similar articles section. This is advantageous for readers because it provides further research in the field, enabling them to get a broader understanding, and can be really useful for assisting those writing literature reviews or trying to understand a new field. It's also a really good place for you as authors to find new reviewers in your future research. So the article section also contains funder information, and that's where you can find which funders have supported given works. For example, this article was funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, EDCTP, and the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So you can expand the funder list to get more information, such as the grant name, PI name, grant ID, and publications linked to that grant. This is really useful for you as researchers to see which funders are funding similar research projects, as then it's likely this is a fund you could apply to also receive funding from. Europe PMC has also developed Grant Finder, and this is a tool that makes it easy to find grant information using different search keywords. The Grant Finder tool lets you search by keywords in the project title or abstract using the PI's name, the institutional name, funder or funder's name, and the grant ID, and it will turn hyperlinks available for the grants related to your search. Recently, the Grant Finder has had raw IDs introduced, and these are unique identifier for institutes that all grants for an institute, even if they're listed under different variations of the institution's name, for example, the University of Cambridge can also be referred to as Cambridge University or abbreviated to COB. And these are all returned, saving you searching time. So you only need to search for one name variation within the institute to return all available grants, making it easy for you as authors to find your grant information. Recognition for you as an author is also very important, and ORCID provides each researcher with a digital identifier known as an ORCID ID. This is unique to you as a researcher and is used to claim your work. This helps to make it easy to showcase your research and aims to stop confusion between researchers with, say, the same name or the same initials, so it's very clear who the research belongs to. As authors, you can claim your papers to your ORCID in Europe PMC. You do need to give ORCID permission to share your information with Europe PMC to utilize this tool. And this is also used to create an author profile in Europe PMC. The author profile is created by Europe PMC and can be accessed by users viewing your papers by hovering over your name where you have an author profile, which is created by sharing the author information with Europe PMC. This then offers the option to view that author profile. Here's an example of what that profile can look like. It shows information about the total number of articles represented by the bar chart and the citation number for those articles represented as a line graph, where the number of articles in Europe P included as abstracts are grey, full text are dark blue, free full licensed articles in green, and preprints in light blue. This is a really useful way of you as authors to keep track of all your publications, keeping them organised, making it easier to list them when required, for example, when applying for grants or as evidence of impact to current funders. Europe PMC supports you in carrying out further research, and this happens in multiple ways, including through text and data mining. One way this is done is author-submitted manuscripts are included in the special bulk text download subset and can be easily reused for large-scale literature and bioinformatics studies, as well as text and data mining. Also, Europe PMC collaborates with several expert text mining groups, and this enables sharing of text mine's insights with publication readers using the Sci-Light tool. So the Sci-Light tool provides an annotation function for articles. The annotations are relevant terms, including data accession numbers, cell lines, experimental methods, gene and disease relationships, and protein interactions, and much more. And these can be highlighted in abstracts and the full text of an article that's being read on Europe PMC. Currently, this tool has over 2 billion annotations, and these are available for biological entities and relations. The annotations tool makes it easier to scan an article and get a quick overview by finding key concepts and discovering evidence such as gene disease associations, which enhances the user experience and makes digesting and understanding your research article easier. It also supports scientists and database curators in their literature research by harnessing the power of text mining to quickly identify key concepts and find relevant evidence which can be utilized to support further research. Another great way that further research is supported by Europe PMC is by the indexing of preprints, where a preprint is a freely accessible version of a paper which precedes peer review and publication in a journal. So it may have undergone some basic screening before publication in a repository, and it's used for rapidly disseminating results. These are becoming increasingly popular in life sciences and support further research by sharing the most up-to-date discoveries and offering an opportunity for you as researchers to engage in conversations around the research outside of peer review in preprint review, which is an open and transparent process. Europe PMC indexes preprints from 32 different sources, and preprints are enriched with the user-enhancing features discussed earlier, including citations and impact, data, annotations, preprint reviews, and evaluations. Preprints also have an additional feature where they're linked to versions and published versions. So this screenshot shows how this looks in Europe PMC. There is a box that shows that this article is a preprint, and it will tell you if there's versions, or in this case, a published article is available, making it really easy for you and readers to get the most up-to-date information, which can then be applied to ideas for further research. A key element in supporting you with further research is to ensure that you keep up to date with the most recent literature. Europe PMC enables you to save search terms as they're saved on your profile for your convenience, making literature searches easier as you know exactly which searches were the most beneficial to finding the research that you're interested in. You can also set up email alerts for these search terms so you're alerted with new content in Europe PMC, helping to keep you up to date and supporting your knowledge and thus ideas for further research. To summarize, it's advantageous to have your article in Europe PMC because of funder policy compliance, the greater visibility of research, such as showing full text in Europe PMC, enhanced user experience for researchers, for readers, such as data behind the publication, recognition for authors, such as your ORCID linking and author profiles, and support for further research, such as using the text and data mining. I'd like to thank all of Europe PMC's funders and then pass over to you for any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Francis, and thanks a lot, Summer, for the webinar today. And thanks to everyone for joining in today and also sending your questions in here. So we can go into the Q&A session. So there's one question in there, and they're asking how Europe PMC is different from PMC.
So Europe PMC differs from PMC as there's also additional content in Europe PMC. So we also get content from Agricola and Chinese biological abstracts, as well as bringing in the preprint content from the 32 different preprint servers. There's also different tools that are made available by Europe PMC, including some of the headings, so the reviews and this text and data mining, those annotations. There are really key features and tools that add value in Europe PMC. Please do let me know if you'd like any expansion.
Right, thank you. Another question is about the publication. So is linking to funding is optional or mandatory for publications?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. So again, this does vary a little bit by funder. But yeah, so some funders like to have the full link on, and others don't. But yeah, it's sort of helpful to get as much information as possible on the article. But just let us know if you've got any queries about that, or I don't know if you can put in who your funder is, and I might be able to give you a bit more of a personalised response to that.
Right. Thanks. I can just add to that question. So is it the same for preprints, or is only for final publication, which is out?
So this is, at the moment, this is all for research articles, not preprints. So although we do capture funding information from some prints, it's not, you can't link your grants to preprints via the system at the moment.
If there's not any other questions, do send any questions about Europe PMC to the help desk. We're also really keen to hear your feedback. So please do contact us. And there's some links here that will be shared out for search using Europe PMC, how to submit your manuscript, and do keep up to date with our new tools and features via the Europe PMC blog, and follow us on X.